That's not gonna work. That is not gonna work. Hello, testing 1 2 3. Can you hear me now? Can you see me now? Where is the rotate device back? Orientation locked. It seems like it's horizontal to me. I don't think that's working. All right, now what do we got going here? Hey, what's the orientation? It's all sideways. Okay, this stupid thing keeps wanting to go vertical all the time. I want to get it. Anyways, let me show you where we're at here. We're going to get a live stream of the Open Nationals contest here at Minden, Nevada, as soon as I can figure out how to get this thing in horizontal mode. Yeah, vertical now. Now if I go, how do I get my device to, oh man, hang on. See, and I can't read any of that stuff there either.
Too bright.
Vertical now. Orientation is locked. How do I get the orientation unlocked? We got no technical experts. All I got is Milt here with me, and he's still helping all.
I'm iPhone, man. Sorry.
Let me see. Once started. Okay, so I'm gonna cancel this. We'll cancel this feed and come back to you in the proper horizontal feed. Anyway, stay tuned. Here comes the first tow plane here, Piper Pawnee. We're at the Open Nationals Soaring Contest, U.S. Nationals Soaring Contest in Minden, Nevada. We just landed. I know very little about soaring. I've got Milt here with me today. He's going to give us the tour. Here's the lineup. These aircraft are going to launch first, one at a time. They're just going to go down the line here and launch these aircraft for their task, about a 300-mile task today. So let me come back to you and get this thing dragged down from the top and choose rotate or not. Let me see if that works. Okay, now let's go like that. Like that. Let's go like that. Oh, it's still locked. Still in. All right.
On the iPhone, you
vertical looks fine.
Up and have this guy.
We're not on an iPhone today.
I know, so it probably they copied it, right? So it's probably the same. Can't get it out of there, huh?
Yeah, I was stuck in vertical mode again. I set it for horizontal mode, but. So, Milt, how many gliders we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 18 gliders. It's going to take them, what do you figure, about 3 hours to do the task?
3.5 hour task.
3.5 hour task, about a little over 300 miles. It consists of, it looks like 4 different points. They're going to get picked up by the tow plane here, dropped off at 2,500 feet above the mountains right over there, and then start doing those tasks. And if we get a task sheet, I'll show you what that looks like. Yeah, let's see what a task sheet looks like here. Now there's a powered glider overhead. And these are all the different categories of sailplanes racing today. And I'm not familiar with all the different categories. Beautiful machines.
This is today's task sheet.
So we start here at point C and have 1, 2, 3, 4 points and a finish anywhere from 65 to 122 miles apart. But each point is represented by a radius of about, what is that, 20 miles?
30 miles.
20 to 30 mile radius. So all you got to do is get inside that radius, and then you can make your tactical decision as to where you want to go from there. And are we going this way like that?
So we're heading south
this
first,
way? Okay.
up and then around, yep.
And so is the basic idea the first person, the fastest one wins?
Correct.
Gets
yeah.
the task completed.
So the fastest guy around the task wins the day. And so, you know, there's a lot of strategy involved determining where you go into these zones. Wherever the best lift is going to make you the fastest. So, yeah, so it's the nominal distance today is almost 400 miles. Minimum is 277 and maximum is 555. So if you went to the max area of all the zones, you'd do the max distance.
So you can cut that shorter as long as you hit the, well.
Correct. You want to finish at 3.5 hours or over. If you finish earlier, you're leaving some speed and time, you know, on the table. So you really want to fly the 3.5 hours or longer if you're fast. So.
Well, then how do you determine the winner again? The fastest one after 3.5 hours?
Correct, yes. So there's a scoring program and it uses a lot of different parameters. So they put all that, you know, we download our flight logs to the score, and then it spits out what your speed was around that task. So, you know, it looks at the time, the distance that you flew. Generally, the longer you fly or the further you fly, the faster you're going to tend to be, unless the conditions deteriorate and then you get stuck out somewhere. Versus somebody that flew a little shorter.
So it's not necessarily just the fastest time, how quick you can get it done. It has to do with time, rate, and distance.
Correct.
Through a formula.
Right.
Interesting.
Yep. So.
And there's guys in there watching you on computers, or?
There is, yeah. There's quite a few websites. The most popular one right now is called Soaring Spot.
Can they watch you live?
They can, yeah. So we have ADSB, so they can see us, you know, through the course, and it gives you live updates of where we are and how we're doing. And it also will overlay this task, so you'll see the actual turns and the zones on Soaring Spot. So.
That doesn't rank order them like a like a race.
No,
who's got the lead?
No, I mean it kind of does, but it's hard to show exactly, you know, all that when somebody started and that type of stuff. So you kind of have an idea, but at least you can see the entire field out there on the course and how everybody's doing and their altitudes and all that. So.
And this is the U.S. Nationals. This is the national championships.
It is for the open class. So all these gliders are considered open class gliders, and basically anybody can fly open class, but typically only open class gliders are going to be the competitive ones.
What is an open class glider?
Anything over 18 meters is considered open class.
That's 18-meter wingspan, right?
Correct. Right. So these two here are called Yonkers JS1Cs. They're 21-meter wingspan, so 70 feet. And then we have some that go all the way up to 31 meter.
Yeah, look at that monster back there.
It's called the Meta.
Man.
And it's a one-off. It's one of a kind. So.
And he's so large, he's got to be self-propelled. You can't tow a beast like that.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the last day of the 24 Open Class Nationals, and this gentleman here is Keith Essex. He's currently in the lead. And,
really?
And is unbeatable.
And then to get to this point, have you done a whole series of contests throughout the United States to get to here? Or
it depends. You know, most people are retired that do this sport, so they'll go to several different races. Me, unfortunately, I'm still working, so I have to spread my time out amongst the contests. So, but yeah, the first race usually starts in March in Seminole Lake Glidaport down in Florida, Claremont, Florida, and that's called the Seniors. And so people from all over the country come to fly that race. It's one of the largest races in the country. And then from there is Perry, South Carolina in April, and then after that it kind of shotguns around the country as the soaring starts to pick up.
If you're just joining us, we're live here at the U.S. Nationals in Minden, Nevada, just on the other side of beautiful Lake Tahoe, right on the other side of those mountains. And these guys are doing they're just starting today for their task. This would be, I guess, the final task, this
is the last day, yep. So.
And there's your leader right there in the glider ahead of us.
That's correct.
Putting his parachute on. Let's take a quick look inside of your rig here and show us around a little bit.
Up here. It's that time anyway, so.
5 Juliet, but that was it. 85 Juliet, Delta Lima, 70 knots, please. Delta Lima 70 knots.
So that's the glider talking to the tow pilot. He wants a 70-knot tow. So there's your airspeed indicator that winds around like a snail.
Correct. Yep. Yep. And then let me get this flight computer going. So this is the flight computer, and it has all kinds of different information and pages. I can navigate to several different points at once.
Do you have the task already preloaded in there?
I do. Yep. So if I zoom out, you can see the
there
task.
it is. Yep.
So that's the task that we're flying. And yeah, it has a lot of good information. Like, you know, it has wind and temperature, and there's I fly an Airbus at work, and this has more technology than the Airbus.
More technology than the Airbus. Ah, good. And variometer, or vertical speed, is that what we're looking at here?
So there's two variometers.
Yeah.
And then you know, the basic airspeed, altimeter, and compass. So this also has artificial horizon, which is disabled currently, but it's my primary vario. The one to the right is my secondary vario.
Got it. And you got the beep, 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 beep,
Yeah,
the audio one?
Audio, yeah.
Yeah.
So keep your head out of the cockpit. And
Are you guys all running oxygen? Oh, you got your Camelback right here for your water?
Traffic, Juliet, picking up 30, lighter tow, left 270 departure.
Up in the mountains, you're going to need that, and it's got to work.
That's correct. Get that turned on.
More squelch. And then here we've got a speed brake here.
Yeah, this is the flap lever here.
Oh, flaps, okay.
For positive and negative flaps, and then the spoilers handles right here.
Uh-huh.
There's the trim. Here's the tow release,
Okay.
and then the landing gear.
Retractable landing gear. Very nice.
Don't demonstrate that.
Yeah, no. And then
That's
we
been
have
done on live
the water
TV.
ballast. So I'm carrying 50 gallons of water in the wings.
50
Plus-
gallons of water in the wings, huh?
Right, and then I have 6 liters of water in the tail to counterbalance that water that I have in the wing.
And so how do you manage the water, and what is the objective of that?
So you carry water. You know, the heavier you are, the faster you obtain your best LOVD speed. So in conditions like this where they're strong, we don't have a problem climbing. So we carry the extra weight so that when we're running, we can fly faster at a high, you know, the same LOVD that we would if we were slow without water.
Mm-hmm.
So it allows us
It's
to glide.
better penetration. Is that the
A lot
idea?
better penetration. Yep.
To get to the good air.
Correct.
Uh-huh.
And we, you know, when we're traveling at those faster speeds, it's less time that we're in the bad air trying to get to the good air.
Uh-huh. And it is overall a speed contest. And then when do you port the water overboard, or do you?
Well, hopefully, if it all goes well, we do it just before we land. If we happen to get low and stuck somewhere, or the lift gets weak, then we have to dump it. But typically, we're dumping it just before we land.
Got it.
4 or 5 miles from there.
Yeah.
It only takes a few minutes to dump the 50 gallons. So
And you're not using the water in the tail for any sort of trim?
not trim, no, just to counterbalance the weight in the wings, because
Okay.
the tanks are forward of the spar,
Uh-huh.
so it shifts the CG forward. So then we have to put water in the tail to counterbalance that in the back.
And then to jettison the water, is it pumped out or just gravity?
Just gravity.
So you
Yeah,
just
so
open it
there's
valve.
vents on the top of the wings,
Yeah.
and then that allows it to flow through the tank, and it dumps out just below the root there.
Yeah. What about, you got to antifreeze it or anything? Or you're generally not
Usually this time
anticipating?
of year, it's. I mean, we do get up in the freezing temperatures, but you know, we're not there very long, so they don't tend to freeze. In the spring, people will tend to put a little bit of RV antifreeze in the tail because that tank is so small.
Uh-huh.
You don't want that freezing up and unable to dump it. So,
Excellent.
yeah,
Okay, your first name?
Keith.
Keith, thanks so much.
welcome.
And what machine is this?
This is called a Yonkers JS1.
Yonkers JS1. And to get into one of these nowadays on the used market, what are you looking at?
Price-wise, 180 to 190, I would say.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah,
And for storage, it just stores in the trailer, so you don't need a hanger.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Put them in the trailer and off to the next contest.
Great. Another nice, inexpensive hobby.
It can be done cheaply.
It can be done cheaply. There are some cheaper ones out there, but you're not going to be.
Mostly in other countries.
You're not going to be racing in these contests.
Well, if you're just joining us, we're live here at the U.S. Nationals in Minden, Nevada, just across from Lake Tahoe, right over there. We popped over the hill here with Milt and the 310. Milt's a longtime glider pilot, and he knows a lot of these guys, and he's showing us around. This is just fascinating technology, fascinating flying.
Yep.
Yeah, see, they know each other. Everybody knows everybody in the gliding world. Check these beautiful machines out. I got to see this beast on the end here with the long wings. Well, you can still get a cheap glider, but these are the high performance, high end contest winning machines. Good grief, look at this wingspan. It says it's a one-off, one of a kind. Look at the airline style winglets. That is just beautiful. Look at that. Look how much it flexes. So I think you can follow along this contest online using the ADSB data on a couple of different websites that are dedicated to sailing or soaring. Little interrupters for the airflow there. The conditions look pretty good for soaring, my limited knowledge of it, but we've got a good high ceiling on those cumulus. We had some light turbulence coming over in Harvey today. It kept it down to maneuvering speed, but there should be good lift up to the base of those clouds anyways. Here comes another tow plane, looks like a 182. So Milt, tell us about what do you think the conditions are like today, right now? There's hardly any wind here on the ground. It's really hot. It's in the 90s.
Look at the clouds.
So what are you seeing? What are you seeing in those clouds?
Well, there's clearly thermal lift already happening. It's a fair amount of moisture, so you see in the vertical development. So there's a danger of thunderclouds later on, which the meteorologist knows. They have Dan Gudgel as their meteorologist, so he plans out a kind of a safe course. So during the day, they're not going to run into major thunderstorms.
Mm-hmm.
But you can just see it. You see those tall. It is 12 o'clock, and we already have that big vertical development. So later in the day, they're going to be huge. So they send them to where there's good lift and away from those big thunderstorms, and they're going to go that way. It's blue right now, but it's going to get good later.
It'll fill in.
So you start with cloud base. How high are the clouds? So based on humidity and temperatures, that kind of sets how high you're going to be able to go in a glider. In gliders. So and they have rules on how close you can get to cloud base. So that's the highest you're going to be able to go. So that sets your glide range and how close you need to be to airports and stuff.
And so you're looking at the altitude of the base of those clouds, and you're thinking, okay, I can make a 120-mile run on the leg, okay, from that altitude, or you're gonna have to work for it. You're gonna have to stop and get some more lift, huh?
This is the desert. They're going to be hauling.
Ah.
Smoking 100-mile-an-hour average, most likely.
Wow.
And it gets faster than that. I don't know what the record, like 140 or something like that.
Like would be an average speed for the whole task?
The whole thing. So if you find a lift line, you can just follow it, and you're not stopping to climb.
Yeah.
You're just following the best air, slowing down, climbing, still going in the right direction, and then you keep going. And you try not to get too close to cloud base, because if you're close to cloud base, you can't slow down because you get sucked up in the cloud.
Yeah.
So you want to like be in an operating band where you are low enough so you can slow down and climb when it's good, and then you speed up when there's sink, and if there's a lot of sink, you speed up a lot. And then hopefully, because these ships are going so fast, you can figure out that there's lift and slow down quick enough to take advantage of it, stay in that for a while, and just keep on going.
So you're not going to spend a lot of time thermaling around in circles in this sort of a contest?
I mean, ideally. I mean, in real life, you have the good sections, and then you have the bad sections, or the sections where there's no lift at all, and then you're
get as high as you can and tippy-toe your way to the turn point.
Yeah.
And then back to lift.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like saying, okay, I got to go to the turn point, then I have to go to the lift over there. I don't, so the closer you are to the ground, the harder the lift is to work. So you kind of plan your flight so that you start from, as high as you can get to your goal, and then get back to the lift high enough so it's still going to be good. Because the way you lose a contest like this, number one is landing.
Landing out.
Yeah.
Not returning to here.
Doesn't happen a lot in the desert.
So you have to return here to Minden, or is there
Yeah.
a point that they got to fly over, or they just land on the runway?
You need to do the course, and I think you need to land back you lose points if you don't land back at the contest airport.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all sorts of different conditions and optimizations and everything else.
Pawnee's going to pull this sailplane next. Pull the rope tight.
So there's a man named Paul McCready who back in the 50s.
Oh yeah, didn't he do the man-powered flight?
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's a super genius, and he was a world champion glider pilot back in the 50s. He invented something called the McCready ring, which means that if you know the strength of the lift you're going to climb in, there's a perfect speed for your glider.
So that speed is variable. It changes on the
speed to fly. Yeah.
Based on the strength of the lift.
Right.
Huh.
So it's the lift you're going to get to, not the lift you were just in.
Uh-huh.
So if you're like hauling along and you get stupid, and you think that lift's going to be great too, you end up on the ground. So you're looking ahead and estimating how strong that lift is going to be, and ideally you get to the lift where it is that strength and climb to cloud base and keep going. So that's the stop, climb, and glide normal sort of soaring.
What
Here,
happens?
hopefully you can line it up so you're not actually doing that, but you still have a speed to fly.
That speed to fly, does it we got a jet coming in here. And that's the thing we got to watch out for Minden. It's an uncontrolled airport. We got 2 crossing runways. That's the main runway over there, and the gliders are using this crossing runway, which crosses right about midfield. That speed to fly, does it increase or decrease as the lift increases?
Increases as the lift increases, yeah.
The speed to fly
lift,
increases.
The faster you fly,
Right.
yeah.
The better the lift, the faster you fly. Got it.
So these guys are all watered up. They're as heavy as they can be.
Yeah.
Because you only
There he
give
goes.
up maybe 100 feet per minute of climb rate. And these thermals are, I don't know what the forecast is going to be, but they're probably 1,000 feet a minute, 1,200 feet a minute climb. So water does not slow you down very much
Yeah.
in the climb, but it helps you all the time, all the way in the glide. So you don't have a chance unless you're heavy. Got the wing wheel.
So that's part of their strategy, is figuring out how much water to put on board, or they just
Nope.
just tank it up, fill it up, max it out.
Yeah.
Good.
In this, on a day like this, in these conditions, you max it out.
Uh-huh.
Some of these are, some of these gliders are so heavy they don't have room. If you have 2 people in the cockpit,
Yeah.
they just don't have much room for water.
There's
That's
2
a
people in there.
crew.
Wow. Okay. So you got a crew kind of working together as a team, huh?
Yeah, it's open class. You can fly anything.
Anything
Which
over 18
normally
meters.
means-
Okay.
Well, no, anything. You can fly a
Yeah.
126, which is a very, old, slow glider. You're not going to win.
Are your speeds? Do they break it down by class or category, or is it just open, fastest
It's open
wins?
class.
Winner takes
there
all.
are rules, but it's pretty wide open.
So it's not like the winner of the 18-meter category is
Nope.
Milt Hare, and the winner of the 30.
There are different championships in throughout the world, but in the United States, there's open class, 18-meter class, 15-meter class. They also have some one design classes. And they have club class, which is where you can fly for very low cost gliders, and then it's up to the pilot. But then your handicap matters. How it's just like with sailing, you end up buying a glider with a good handicap, and you have a better chance of winning. And
Right. So the design of the glider has a handicap, or it has a score to it. It has a, what do they call that in sailing? The hull score.
Yeah, we have a couple different types of handicaps. We had a guy named Carl Harold, who's a real famous glider pilot from around here, from the old days. So we had the CH. He had his own handicaps that were better than the regular handicaps.
So here they are. So it looks like they're taking off, doing a left 270 overhead, and then taking them right out to the start point over there. It takes them about an hour to launch all 18 gliders, I think they said they had today. And we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the last 5 gliders. And look at that, he's polishing up that wing, making sure those bugs are off of there. Got a clean surface. And yeah, some of these gliders have bug and rain removal systems that they can run down the leading edge of the wing while they're in flight.
So most of these gliders are not really open class.
But this is the open class nationals.
Yeah, it is. But it's way out here in the West, and for whatever reason, there are not that many like best gliders on the planet sort of thing here. Now the thing about the desert, which set really strong conditions, sometimes you don't want real long wings because you're going so fast.
You want a speed machine.
You want a speed machine. So actually an 18-meter ship that's super heavy might be the right ship.
Might be the hot setup. Talk us through the procedure here. So we just had the tow plane land. He's got the tow rope with him. He spun around a 180. They got the tow rope connected to the glider, and now we got some hand signals, right? So the orange shirt is holding up the wingtip.
Yep, that's the wing runner. So it's very important that the rope is connected properly. And then the pilot says, okay, they did do a little test. They kind of pull on it just a little bit to make sure it's really connected. And then the pilot says, yes, okay. And
waggles his rudder. I'd missed the rudder waggle.
Yeah.
And they're running like hell.
So the pilot tells the wing runner to raise the wing so it's level. The tow pilot can see that easily and knows, okay, they're ready. Then he watches for the rudder wag. And when the glider pilot wags the rudder, then the tow pilot repeats that, and off they go.
Okay, so he signals it back with another.
And they'll generally be on the radio too, but not always. I think in modern contests you're required to have radio communication or you can't fly.
Can't fly, just strictly off a visual hand signal. So we got a nice cool umbrella keeping this cockpit cool, because it's going to top out about 95 degrees here at Minden. At this elevation, 4,700 feet, that's going to yield a density altitude approaching 8,000 feet. Look it up on the density altitude charts there.
In the old days, everyone here would have a crew of like 2 people and a rig ready to go, and someone holding the umbrella and all this stuff. In the modern days, with all our great forecasting and these amazing machines, you almost always make it home. So a lot of these guys are on their own.
Oh, so you had your crew consisted of somebody to come get you when you landed out.
Betcha.
That's what you're saying. We're planning on maybe I'll see you home at dinner. Maybe.
And in those days, you had straight out contests. Like, okay, today, whoever goes the farthest wins. Well, now when they go 1,000 miles or something on like crazy days, like then there's like 2 days of everyone kind of driving back from God knows where. So they don't do that anymore.
That's a grand adventure.
They used to have just triangles.
Yeah.
You know? Now they're very flexible because they can pinpoint the day. They can slot you through thunderstorms and like keep you away from the other classes if there's multiple classes, so it doesn't get too crowded, because these the other classes are huge. It can have 40, 50 gliders. And that's a lot of gliders, which are sometimes in one thermal waiting for the start. It's kind of crazy.
Too many gliders in one chunk of airspace.
Yeah, they're very good. You get to the high level, they tend not to have problems, but you don't want to be in a thermal with 30 gliders and people that don't know what they're doing.
You got guys thermaling left and right circles?
No. First one in determines the circling direction.
Very good.
And actually, at these big contests, they just pick, I think it's always to the left.
Yeah.
They pick a direction and that's it.
That's it.
No one goes the other direction.
Good. No head-ons.
Yeah.
Good.
So, these, I don't know if all these guys have them, but there's something called FLARM, which was started in Europe, in the Alps, when they have a lot of real narrow courses with the gliders going real fast, exactly in the same place. And I don't know how long ago FLARM was developed, but It gives you noise, sounds, and you can see exactly where the other gliders are. So since gliders are so close together,
Yeah.
all the time, very, very frequently, it lets them tell where other traffic is, how high it is above you. It's super smart. It figures out who is dangerous and who you have to be watching. I don't know if FLARM is required here, but like in European contests are required. I think they are. And
So-
they have ADS-B out and all that
ADS-B out and in, so all the rest of us can see as well.
Yep.
Here on the beastly glider at the end here, what is that, a 30-something meter wingspan?
I don't
31?
know. I mean,
But
it's
he's got his-
25 meter plus.
He's got his engine deployed there on a
What is
big rubber belt. Here comes the 182 tow plane in. If you're just joining us, we're here at the U.S. Nationals in Minden, Nevada. Yeah, you need a wide screen for that. At Minden, Nevada, U.S. Nationals sailplane soaring contest. Today is the last day, the final task. It's a 3.5-hour task
31
of at least 4 different turn points, and we're down to the last 4 gliders to launch. The rest of the gliders, 18 total today, are going to be flying in the contest. And this is my first time checking something like this out, and so this is Milt Hare here, who's, how long have you been soaring for?
Since I was 8.
Since you were 8, yeah.
Long time.
he's been begging me to come check this stuff out, and it's really, really fascinating technology. Yeah.
So in Europe or anywhere where the soaring is not fantastic and the cloud bases are kind of low, you need big wings.
Yep.
So in a European contest at a kind of a normal site, that guy would kick. These guys would have a lot of trouble.
That would be your winner right there.
He can climb in like 60 foot per minute.
Really low
real
lip.
light.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one else can even stay up.
Uh-huh.
And it can glide, very high glide ratio. I don't know what it is, 60 to 1, 65 to 1, something like
I hate to
this.
interrupt you, one, but
Sure.
as soon as
Yeah, we're gonna get out of the way.
as soon as number 2 starts rolling, this guy's gonna go, and we need you.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I don't want to get sliced by that dicer. Yeah. Skylark looks like a 172 with a great big engine and the big heavy-duty gear.
So Rex and Williams has.
Oh, he's got
rope
that. Yeah.
He has a big reel inside, so they reel up, so they release and reel up the rope.
So they're not dragging
so
it
you're
around.
not dragging it.
Yeah.
You don't get knots and breaks. They don't wear out.
Uh-huh.
So you can trust the rope. And soaring with a ratty rope is no good.
Yeah. That's one of your first maneuvers to practice is
And it can still happen.
it's like an engine failure on takeoff. It's
Good
the same
ropes
thing.
Are great. These guys, I think that's only for Pawnees. I don't think they've got it for anything else. So these Pawnees might have that. I don't know. But a contest, they use new ropes. They make sure they're good.
So there's just giving them the tighten it up signal. She's got that hook there to retrieve the line. Got the rudder wag, off they go. Just holds it with his, there you go, pick that thing up.
They dip down a lot.
Yeah.
Barry, I'll be over here.
So the tow pilot's in charge,
Yeah.
and the glider pilot's just hanging on. And you want to stay low because the glider has so much power, and the rope is connected at the tail
Yeah.
of the tow plane. If the glider goes high, it pulls the tail up, and there's nothing the tow pilot can do about it. So it's a release.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So that's why towing is not.
So the glider is, well, you practice boxing the tow plane, but ideally you want to be just above the wake turbulence of the tow plane.
Yeah. It's down below a little.
Which is down below a little ways, yeah.
You go really high, tow plane's probably going to release.
So the contest director here's giving us the heads up because these two guys are going to get towed, but this last guy with these huge wings, he's got his own engine. He's just going to blast off. He's not going to wait for a tow plane.
One of these days, if you get brave enough to fly with a retired American guy, you can come fly with me. I've got a high-performance two-seater.
Yeah, all right.
Yep, and it's a good day in the desert. It'll be fun.
Are you based out of Minden here?
Yeah, I've got a ASG 32 that I fly here.
Right
I've
here,
also
Minden.
got a single-seater,
Uh-huh.
That's a sweet ride.
but the two-seater is a lot of fun. It's real fast.
And that's a motor glider, right?
Yeah.
The last 3 gliders to go here at the U.S. Nationals. You got to stick around. I'm just going to keep rolling here. I got to see this monster glider take off. And like the U-2, it would seem like you would want pogos that would fall off of the wings, but he didn't have that. He just has somebody help him with
Wing runners.
wing runners, huh?
Sometimes if you land out in some godforsaken place, you find like a stick. You know, a little bit of wind and a stick.
It just launch it off of that, huh?
Yeah.
Because you don't have that full crew of people to come out there and run your wing for me after you.
Nowadays, most people have wheels, so you can actually start with one wingtip on the ground.
Yeah.
And you have so much weight on the tail that it keeps you straight. It depends on the glider.
Mm-hmm.
But you just start that way, assuming the runway's wide enough. And you just keep it on the ground until you have enough speed for aileron authority, and then you just lift your wing. No problem. But some of these gliders have just a skid. I think pretty much everyone has wheels now, because skids kind of suck.
Yeah.
And they drag, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that wing low start. You kind of figure it out over time.
He's got to get that canopy sorted out there.
You notice there's no runway lights?
Yeah.
Runway lights and ropes and long glider wings are not friends.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Up at Truckee, they have runway lights, and it's
A constant problem.
a lot of times they're removable. You can take them out during the day when you're doing
Oh,
glider
okay.
operations.
Yeah.
Then you put the lights back in
Mm-hmm.
before evening.
We got the last tow on final here, the Pawnee. The second Pawnee. I think these 2 Pawnees are based here at Minden. Oh, we got somebody already coming back. What's up with that, Milt?
Well, could be contests, could be
Look
equipment
at those
problems.
wings. Huh. That's one of the sailplanes already come back here to Minden.
Could have had an early tow release. Bee up his leg.
Bee in his bonnet.
Mouse
Yeah.
up your leg.
Who knows what?
There are stories. But usually that's like first fly of the season. You know you haven't checked your glider out quite well enough, and there's like a little mouse nest or something, and they always seem to find your
Go crawling right up your
pants
leg.
and go right up it.
Had to get your attention. Run, run, run. Perfect.
Sure is nice when there's a little bit of a headwind.
Little headwind like this?
You
Yeah.
don't need much.
Yeah.
If it's crosswind or no wind or whatever, you want a young wing runner, young enthusiastic wing runner.
All right, here comes the last tow before we launch the powered glider. And of course, this engine retracts right into the fuselage of the sailplane.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. And it looks like a little tiny 2-cylinder, probably a 2-cylinder two-stroke. A diesel Rotax?
No, Rotax.
Rotax, yeah. Probably 2-cycle.
You're okay back here as long as you don't mind eating his sauce.
Yeah, we're gonna stay back out of the way here. We'll figure it out when he starts it up, what kind of engine he's got on there.
There are some Wankos, but and there's electrics.
The last 2 gliders to launch here at the U.S. Nationals Open Contest, Minden, Nevada. They got them all off in about 1 hour with 4 tow airplanes launched 18 gliders. We already had one glider return for unknown reasons. The rest of them are on the task, a 350-mile, 3.5-hour task to hit at least 4 different points.
This is your water, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'll need that in a minute. There's the wing rudder. Now, why's he got his spoilers out there?
For better aileron control, he'll pop them.
Yeah.
Take it down before he slips out.
All right, there goes the powered glider. Sounds like a 2-stroke to me, Mel. Look at that. Wow. That is low and slow. Holy smokes. He ain't waiting for nothing. Look at those wings start to bend. Look at that. You got the. Too bad I'm in the vertical mode here. You can probably see it now. Okay, look at that bend. Man, it's like a 787. Holy cow. Look at that. Man, you could get that thing bouncing like a basketball if you got that oscillation just right. Holy smokes.
They move a lot.
So he's climbing out at about the same rate as the gliders under tow. Looks like the same rate of climb.
Maybe.
What would that rate of climb be, like 500 foot a minute?
I don't know. They vary. That's a big glider.
Yeah, man, that was something.
Well, that's all he was waiting for, was him to come to the wing.
Yes.
Well, that's it. We've launched the fleet at the U.S. Nationals Open Class contest here at Minden, Nevada.
So they are all going to get up in the start gate. So they don't launch. There's a launch time, but they wait till everybody's up there. They climb up in the thermal.
They don't just launch them as they show up?
Nope.
They're all stacking them up?
Yeah, somewhere over here is the start. I think it's a start gate, and there's a maximum altitude, and there's a time you can't start before, and there's all sorts of rules about starting and how much you have to talk, and they make it so no one can leech like those super world champion goes and everyone follows them. They can't do that. So they make it, so you have to earn your flight.
We better get a ride back to base.
Yeah.
Interesting. Where's that big powered sailplane? He should be right back here somewhere.
Over here.
Oh yeah, so he's barely
So he's looking for a thermal. So what they do is they fire up the engine, but if they get any sort of lift that's out of the pattern, which they're not yet, then he will circle up in there and help him up.
Look at those wings flex. Good grief.
When they do a high-speed pass, it's pretty nuts.
Pretty scary looking, I bet.
They're strong.
Huh. Man.
You guys got a ride across?
No, we're going to need to catch a ride here. Want to see this guy fly.
Walk across.
Yeah.
Let me grab my bottle of water over here. This bag of water.
Want to catch this powered glider as he go by, and then we'll peel out. I don't know if you guys can see that much. Afraid to zoom in. It's so dark I can't see what I'm doing here. And darken the screen. He's still full steam ahead. Not a lot of climbing yet.
Well, they climb at the ripping 2 knots.
Yeah.
200 feet a minute.
200 feet a minute. 2 knots. They measure their vertical climbing in knots.
It's fine at sea level when it's nice and cool.
All right, let me see. Where is this? All right, so that's it. That's the launch of the U.S. Nationals here at Minden, Nevada. They're going to go out and fly a 3.5 hour course. Do you know, guys, remember that website? Folks can look it up.
SSA.org.
SSA.org. That's the Soaring Society of America.org.
Yeah.
Check out the ADSB data. Do a Google search for the Minden U.S. Nationals and follow along. Amazing sport. Lots to learn.
If you search
Thanks for watching.
Open class Championships Minden.
Open
There
Class
are some
Championship
other
Minden.
links for live tracking.
Good. Thanks so much for your support. We'll see you here. Now where's the off button?